I'm 2 Chains. I'm going to be doing a video for Warlocks on how to be disruptive. This includes fears, counterspells, shadow furies, disarms from the Void Lord, etc. There are, however, certain things that I want to go over before entering into the gameplay. I really would like to go ahead and just break down the use of fear. I want to first talk about fearing DPS. When you fear DPS without CC on their healer, you most likely know that they're going to get dispelled, and you really should just go for another fear on the target. So as you'll see in these games later on, even when I fear a target, I instantly start casting another fear because I know that they're going to dispel. Not only dispel, but every class has trinkets, and multiple classes have multiple trinkets. So when you fear a class, when they're using all their cooldowns, you're most likely guaranteeing that they're either going to get dispelled, use their real trinket, or use other outs that they have for their specific class. When being disruptive on a healer, it is important to try to fear it 3 times. In doing so, you will maximize the pressure that you gain from being disruptive on the healer. The next CC that I'm going to talk about is Shadow Fury. Shadow Fury is very important to try to get on multiple targets. This means both DPS, healer and a DPS, or all 3 targets at once. If you're able to do this on all 3 targets at once, you'll maximize the benefit of CCing the whole team. And the final CC I'm going to be talking about is Howl of Terror. Howl of Terror, once again, is just like Shadow Fury. It is important to use on multiple targets. Also, it is important to use when you know that you're not going to be able to get a cast off. For instance, if you're getting trained and you know that they have a kick, a stun, the other person has a silent shot, etc., it's important to try to use Shadow Fury in the perfect situations. So enough to talk about being disruptive, and let's go ahead and just get into the gameplay where I can further explain this. Okay, so the first comp that I'm going to use to show you how to be disruptive is Hunter Lock Rest Druid. This comp strives off CC on the healer. So for the majority of the game, I'm going to be looking for fears on the healer, most likely Shadow Fury on the DPS, and lockouts or spell locks on the Warlock and the Resto Shaman. One key to being disruptive against Resto Shamans is not only to control them, but also to kill their healing streams. So at multiple points in this game, I will be pointing out when to kill a healing stream. The reason for this being a disruptive strategy against a Resto Shaman is because if I'm able to kill the healing stream, he's going to have to cast, and which lends to me locking him out. Okay, so here we go. Going into the game, you always want to try to get the Demonic Gateway. It's very important for a Warlock. After getting the Demonic Gateway, I just go ahead and push in, and I try to get my port down by the pillar. Once I get my port down, I just push in and start looking for a CC on the Shaman. I get Shadow Furied and Blanketed, and I just keep running at the Shaman. I get Shadow Furied here, and I'm aware that the Shaman's going to be looking for a Hex. I go ahead and just howl him. In this case, I get Tremor, and I see Stormlash and Demon Soul from the lock, so I just go ahead and go back and start to peel. Being disruptive on the DPS on their cooldowns will usually get their trinkets. So when I'm finally able to get a fear off, I go ahead and try to get the fear on the Hunter as he's doing the main damage in this comp. I fear the Hunter, and then I switch it to the Warlock. As you can see, they both trinketed and they were re-feared. In doing so, I was able to prevent me dying right then and there. So after going through my fear DRs on the DPS, it is very important to get my dots back out and to try to gain pressure. This will lend to them pulling off of us, and in this scenario the Shaman had to push into us. I was able to fear him and get Tremor, put down a healing stream, and I killed it. So it's very important as healing stream does the most damage, most healing for a Shaman. Notice I feared the Shaman 3 times. It is very important to be very disruptive to a healer, especially in this comp. In being disruptive, we were able to get deterrence from the Hunter. After getting feared, I just go ahead and just get my dots back up and running, and then I once again push in for a fear on the Shaman. I see that all 3 players are clumped, and I go for a triple howl. In doing so, I got Tremor. Although I see a healing stream, I thought I was in trouble, so I went ahead and ported, and then I rushed right back in, got my dot backs up and running, and we just continued to be very disruptive. I throw out the Shadow Fury because it's on the Hunter and the Shaman, even though the Shaman's already CC'd. It was important because I did not want the Hunter to silent shot me or any other type of CC on me. I began to channel Malefic Grasp with Haunt on him, and I was able to pick up the kill. Notice how being disruptive on the Shaman prevented him from using Spearling Totem, in which would have healed his Hunter. In the next comp I'm going to be playing Lock Shaman Boomkin. It is very important to be disruptive on the DPS to keep LSD offensive. If we're able to keep offensive, we will guarantee a lot of spread pressure and be able to get the kill eventually. So once again, the first thing to do is go ahead and get down the demonic gateway. After that, it's important to get your normal warlock portal up. So the first thing I'm going to do is just to get dots up on the whole team. During this time, I'm just waiting for them to go all really offensive and just begin the disruptive strategy. It is important not to just waste fear DRs when the healer can just simply dispel it. So what I did was I waited for everybody to be stacked up, I Shadow Furied everything, and I blanketed the healer. In doing so, I did the full CC. After Shadow Fury is over and I'm out of CC, I just begin to start fearing. I know at this point that he's going to be going very hard, and he pops Ascendance. Ascendance is very important to control, so as you see here, I just spam fear on him. My Druid gets to clone him, so then I just switch the fear to the Hunter. I notice that the priest is divine hymning, so I know that this is not going to be a kill attempt, and I begin to just continually cast fears. Once I get a full fear on the healer, I just throw my dots all back out, I trinket the CC, and I just fear the healer again. Fearing the healer 3 times against Beast Cleave should put them very far behind. Waiting for the priest to get back in the range of the Hunter, I just go ahead and blanket him. Blankets are very important as control. I then go ahead and Shadow Fury the Shaman and the Hunter's pets. I decided not to Shadow Fury the priest because my Druid was low. Knowing that my Druid is going to clone the Shaman, I had nothing other to do than just to keep fearing the Hunter. I fear him and I fear him again. I then go ahead and try to switch to the priest, however he got cloned. Knowing that the Hunter is low and I have no DRs for the priest, I go ahead and fear the priest to get the first DR. I notice that he's beam and hex, so I don't refear instantly. Then I go for the fear, however gets grounded, so I go ahead and Shadow Fury 2 targets. I then blanket the priest and howl 3 targets. Due to being so disrupted to the priest, you can see that the whole team is low and that someone is going to die. In this case, it is the Shaman. In this next game, we're going to be playing against Ret Hunter Resto Shaman. Once again, being disruptive is very important in this comp, as they can kill my Druid at almost any point in the game. So let's go ahead and get started in this game. First thing to do once again is to get this gateway up. I put my portal down and I just begin to get my dots out. Knowing that my healer CC'd, I go ahead and unbound will this and to begin to get my dots out. Once I saw wings, I instantly feared it. I feared both the Hunter and the Ret there and I was going to Shadow Fury, however I got sheared. Once I Shadow Furied, I got the blanket on the healer to prevent him from dispelling. Once I noticed that I got control of the team after the Booming Gateway, it's important to just get my dots out on everybody that I can, as this comp is a spread pressure comp. So once I get the dots out on the whole team and I notice that the Red is pretty far over, I go for the fear on him, however I got sheared. When the Shaman is pushed up like this, it's very easy to get a fear on him, so I went ahead and feared him and then killed the healing stream. As noted before, killing the healing stream is very disruptive to Resto Shamans. Noticing that my pet is dead and then they switch over to me, I just go ahead and instant soul burn a Void Lord in which they will not be able to kill. I go ahead and gateway also to make sure that I'm 100% fine. I then just go back out and just go ahead and get dots on the whole team. I dot the Hunter's pet also, as said before about getting procs, and I go ahead and Shadow Fury the Red. I see that the Red is very far over, so I just begin to cast Malefic Grass and go for a fear on the Shaman, however it got grounded. I then refeared, and then I refeared his Trinket. It is very important that knowing when the healer is going to Trinket to just refear it, as it is very disruptive. During this time, I'm just going ahead and just getting my dots back out, knowing that Healing Tide is down and that there is no point to fear the healer. I try to kill Healing Tide, however, the Shaman makes the mistake of just summoning a Healing Stream. I was able to just kill the Healing Stream and begin to just push right back in. I put my portal down and just continue to push in. I noticed that all 3 are stacked up here, so I went for the Shadow Fury, however I was a bit late. I got the Shaman and the Hunter. In this case, I throw my dots back out, and I go for another fear on the Shaman. I know it's going to break, so I went ahead and just refeared him, however it got sacked instantly. I see that the healing stream's down and instantly just push in to kill it. In doing so, we are able to keep the team very low. Knowing that he has wings up, I go to fear him. Instead, I just go ahead and fear the Hunter because the Ret was out of range and on DR. Keeping control of the game while ahead, as you see here, is very important in the game because it keeps us offensive. In doing so, we're able to get another deterrent. I throw out a full fear on the shaman there. However, my boomkin beamed also. Noticing that two people are stacked up, I go for the Shadow Fury and kill the healing stream. At this point in the game, we're just playing very offensive as there's nothing this other team can do. I just keep pushing in and we're able to get the kill.